Hello everyone, welcome to Developers Checkpoint. In this video, we are going to learn about the serializable isolation level of the database. We have already discussed about the read committed, read uncommitted and the repeatable reads in the previous videos. I will add the link of those videos in the description below. In this video, we are going to learn about the serializable isolation level. We will understand what it is, what are the pros and cons of that, and we will see the example of that using MySQL. So without any further delay, let's dive into the video. So what happens in case of any weak isolation level? In case of any weak isolation level, there are multiple transactions that are running on the database. These read and write queries end up giving a wrong result and cause problems like dirty reads, dirty writes and rediscues. So how can we solve this problem of multiple transactions running on the database? We can solve this problem using a serializable isolation level. So what happens in case of a serializable isolation level? In case of serializable isolation level, there is only one transaction that is being executed on the database at a single time, and other transactions have to wait till that transaction is completed. So let's take an example where multiple transactions are being executed on the database. So we have transaction T1, T2, T3 and T4. So T1 is the first transaction that is being running on the database, and T2, T3 and T4 has to wait till the transaction T1 is committed. T2 will start execution when the transaction T1 is committed, and the similar will go for T3. T3 will execute when the transaction T2 is committed, and similar in case of T4, it will start execution when the transaction T3 is committed. So let's have a look at the pros and cons of that. So the pros of the serializable isolation level is that there is no side effect of any other transactions that are running on the database. As this is the only transaction that is being executed on the database at a time, there will be no impact of any other transaction due to this. But we have to pay a very heavy cost for this. So as we are executing only a single transaction at a time, the concurrency of the system will be very less. We will not be able to serve a very large amount of throughput. A large number of clients have to wait in order to execute their transactions. So we use serializable isolation level in the scenarios where we want a large accuracy and we are having a very less throughput. We cannot use serializable isolation level in a highly scalable system because we are serving only a single transaction at a time. So that is the concept of the serializable isolation level. So let's move to the terminal and see the things in action. So I am on my terminal. I am running MySQL on top of a Docker container. I will add the link of the video where you can find how to run our MySQL on a Docker container. So firstly, I am going to create a database and I'm creating a database named trans. I am going to do the same for both the clients. Okay, so now I am going to create a table. The table has two fields, person ID and account balance. Now I am going to insert some values inside the table. So let me insert few values inside the table. Now I'm going to select and read the data from the table. So we can see there are 3 rows inside our table. Okay, so now it's time to set the isolation level of our transaction, set isolation level of the transaction at serializable in both of our clients. So I'm going to start a transaction, and firstly I will update the value of a particular row. So update persons, set account balance to 2000 where person ID is equal to 1. Now I'm going to read the data from the same table. So select asterisk from persons, and here we can see the account balance of the person ID 1 has updated. Now let's move to the other client, and I'm going to start a new transaction here. So I'm going to read the value from this transaction. So select asterisk from persons, and we can see that we are not getting, this query is not being executed. Why this is not being executed? Because there is already a transaction on the database that is running in the serializable isolation level, and that query is blocking all the other queries from being executed. Okay, and once we commit this transaction, the other transaction will start executing. So this is the serializable isolation level. So guys, that is for the video. Please like and share the video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.